on paper to start off with as well.
Yeah, well that's it, isn't it? So, you know, if anything's going to favour them, it could be Horizon. What a world it would be if we're 2-1 up to Mindfreak at the end of this map. That would be crazy town. Let's see what Mindfreak can do. They're on defense though for now. Blank, the pressure is on them as they roll on out here on attack. Spritty stock standard team comps, Jordan, but it's Davey who's got the Winston. Could get caught out here as well. Will get caught out here as well. Is this fight already over? Tongue going to go down to Christoph. It's a 1-for-1 trade. Would you rather your tank or your heals?
I mean, that was, I just want to point out, that was actually awesome from Noz. He just boops him, and that actually results in the pick, and that's what's put Blank in such a strong position here. Even though they do drop a player themselves, they're going to have that spawn advantage. They've already picked themselves up a tick, and they've got the positional advantage as well. All because of that one little boop from the D.Va.
It's all about the boop. It's all about D.Va, Jordan. D.Va, of course, the #1 hero in the history of the world. Davey, almost going down there. Stays alive. Mindfreak managing to find themselves back onto the point. Christoph eventually will get D-macked with the Baby D.Va form. Halfway looking to make it 66% for now. Blank will be unsuccessful with that, but with Davey going down, it opens things up just a little bit more. Addy Christoph will follow up. Blank should successfully capture Objective A. 6.5 minutes to work with, heading through to Objective B. Yeah,
pretty solid stuff for Blank there. The Mindfreak guys couldn't really get back control of that position at all. They initially lost it, so it sort of felt like a slow descent for Mindfreak in terms of losing that point. Now into point B though. Waiting for Nox to get this grab up. That's going to be really the go signal for Blank.
They're going to have 5 ultimates in just a moment. I guess potentially Mindfreak will have 6, Jordan. Tongue putting out the Transcenders to try and keep the team alive, but Kura goes down. Noz going to get D-mech there as well. So Mindfreak nicely done on the defense, but still 4 players left alive here for Blank.
It's probably not winnable for Blank.
No.
Not without Morton, not without Nox, those 2 big playmaking ultimates. Very, very good stuff from Mindfreak, particularly from Addy, getting that grab up just a little bit faster than Nox. I think is probably what saved them. Being able to use their combo first. Really big in that situation. Blank, so much time to work with. Will obviously return quite quickly to point B here.
Blank come through this with 5 minutes on the clock and 2 points in the pocket. That would be quite impressive. See what Mindfreak can do with the 3 ultimates they have to work with. Nox going to be looking for a big grab. If you throw it in from behind, it's harder for the D.Va to stop it. Self-destruct coming through as well. Earth Shatter should stop the shield. Zorko, Slipsaw J all go down. Christoph, D-Mech, Blank looking very, very healthy. Addy will throw out his grab, but unfortunately there's not much you can do in this particular situation. Up to 60%, make that 66, looking for 100, very aggressive.
Tongue
is Roro on the Brigitte. Tongue, though, the one getting the pick.
Tongue just fragging out there. He must have been holding left click down the angle that they were all running out. Well, that's a super solid performance out from Blank on the attack. I mean, that was pretty textbook stuff. Getting those ultimates in, getting value out of them. And then when the counter ults come out for Mindfreak, it's too little too late anyway. So now, Mindfreak face that 4 minutes 54 time bank.
That's a lot of time, Joe.
And a super solid performance from Blank on the GOATS comp, which we were saying, you know, maybe that's where Mindfreak has their advantages. Maybe that's where the opportunities can come from them. But now, perhaps not. Blank's got it all. Who knew?
They do have a lot of time. That is for sure. And it feels like a lot of this comes from that pick. The first boop, as you said, Jordan, onto the Winston. Sort of started things off, put things a little bit more in Blank's favour, perhaps. They certainly took advantage of it. Did the fight ever really stop? I'm not even sure. It feels like the point A fight kind of like...
It sort of kept going, yeah. It was like it wasn't going so much as it was just a bit of a skirmish. You know, a few shots were thrown
never
backwards
officially
and
fell back. There was no ceasefire.
Exactly.
Nothing was signed. No armistice.
No. Trench warfare.
Mindfreak with a lot of work to be done now. And it won't be done with this team comp.
Well, yeah, probably not. But look, if you're going to make it work, I mean, Symmetra Bastion, we've seen it before, right?
Do it.
I'd love it.
I would love it. It would be great. It would make my absolute day, Elfishguy. Look, this team comp, even now this team comp, I'll take that.
Yeah, Goobs on the Ana is quite nice, but we're going to back off the Mindfreak again. Seeing something that they don't so much like. Not too keen to take that composition into the goats, which you can understand.
Literally walked in the restaurant saying, I'm going to order something different today, and still ending up ordering the exact same thing they bought the last 5 times.
Reminds me of someone in China, Ben.
I don't even know what you're talking about, mate.
Goats v Goats, though, is the name of the game here for Mindfreak as they progress their way forward to the high ground. Try and challenge Blank for that. The advantage they have is the Reinhardt.
Nice, very, very low. Still alive, about to be demec'd. Yes, that's a pretty big pick coming out from Mindfreak. Looking to follow that up with another. Morton dives on through, force back for now. Roro quite low as well. Mindfreak looking very strong, very healthy in prime position. There's one tick looking to make it 2. You'll see Blank starting to get the respawns in tongue down, but Nox does pick up Davies. Wilco finds one as well. Mindfreak still in a half-decent position here off his guy, looking to follow it up with more. Modern lurking in the background, now into the back line. Will go down, however, Mindfreak should find objective A.
It's looking like it. You got to say, though, Nox still does survive through the fight. He's got grab. Eventually falls just a couple of seconds too early before having the opportunity really to use it. It was a slow loss in the end there for Blank.
New defense point.
Another loss indeed. They built a lot of the ult charge up off of it, so Mindfreak's not in quite as good of a position as Blank was heading into point B. I think this is going to be a tough nut to crack for Mindfreak when the ults start to come up for Blank.
Yeah, well, Mindfreak, as you can see, do have a lot of ultimates to work with, but Blank very close to finding theirs as well. So this first engage has the potential to change the rest of this fight. Grab going to come through this time from Mindfreak, looking to pull up with a self-destruct as well. Won't find any picks. Modern going to prop the Primal Rage on defense. Earthshadow going to come through also. Noz not in a great spot right now, almost going to lose that mech. Sound barrier will come out, save the rest of the team. Again, for now, you can see that Blank are throwing everything they've got into this fight. The question is, will Mindfreak be able to find their ultimates in time?
I don't think so. Mindfreak also threw everything into that fight. Christoph has been demec'd as well, and the House of Cards will fall down for Mindfreak. It really was, again, a situation where you saw Blank winning that fight probably 20 seconds ago when the sound barrier came down from Kura late in the fight. It obviously keeps Blank a lot healthier than what Mindfreak were. And now back to square one. Both teams this time not having ultimates as opposed to both teams having ultimates. But a few coming up shortly. Nox, again, going to be pretty important, particularly because Noz does already have that self-destruct available. But if you can win the fight without using the self-destruct, that's going to be better for Blank. It'll allow them to build up the Earth Shatter a little bit quicker, the Sound Barrier a little bit quicker, as opposed to insta-wiping Mindfreak. Let's see how this one works out.
Initiating with the grab self-destruct into the middle as well, coming out from Noz. 1, 2, 3. Well, Davey had already gone down. Addy had already gone down. I guess at that point, there's very little you can do. The umbrella is gone.
Yeah.
The door is open.
Like, in that situation, it's better if they actually don't use the self-destruct. But you're not to know when the self-destruct does get thrown out that you're going to get those 2 picks. Yeah. But ideally, you just get all that damage onto the Reinhardt, onto the Lucio, and you keep the self-destruct because you don't need it. But regardless, still not a bad situation here for Blank. That said, coming into it now, Mindfreak probably do have the advantage in terms of the ultimates. But Blank have got the advantage in the time bank already, so every second here is
spawn advantage,
a good one for Blank.
Time advantage. They're not that far behind on ult charge either, so Blank not in a bad spot at all. And if they can find a fight win here, Mindfreak really going to start running out of time, that is for sure. A lot of work to be done. Mindfreak here on the attacking side of Horizon, they have not even found one tick for now. Engaging onto the point, again, there with an aggressive trance. You can see Blank, they're just holding Jordan, they're waiting. Finally that trance goes down. We'll follow up with a self-destruct from Christoph. That's a big self-destruct coming through from Mindfreak's Diva. Onto the point, they find half, looking to make it 66. Ever closer to 100%, the team will push back onto the point. Engage once again. Modern with an Earth Shatter. Davey throws out his first though. That wasn't necessarily as great. Sound barrier from Swilco. Modern knocked down. He'll get picked up. Graviton Surge picks up 3, but it won't find any kills. Kura the last hope on the point. You can see Roro lurking in the back line as well with the Tracer, but there's only so long the little Brit can last.
Yeah, but by that time, it looks like the Wrecking Ball should get back. No,
nope.
Nox takes it. He takes the wrong turn. The GPS wasn't quite going in the Wrecking Ball.
Oh no, maybe he had avoid tolls marked on or something and it takes you the long way.
Yeah, must have. I thought they were going to be able to hold for a little bit longer there. Not necessarily hold, or I should say stall in that case for Blank. That said though, I mean, it's a minute, 2 minutes advantage almost here for Blank. I think you'll be happy with that.
Yes. However, things can change, Jordan. This is not the end of this particular map, and to be honest, with 2 minutes 58, that's still a ton of time. And Mindfreak were quite impressive on Objective A when they were attacking. And to be fair, on Objective A when they were defending, it was really just one unlucky decision, I suppose. Or one great play from Blank that really swung things around. So this map is certainly not over here at this point. Both of these teams would love to find themselves a map win, put them one away, picking up a victory here. Look, Jordan, if it's Mindfreak, that would be quite a sight to see.
Definitely doable. A strong attacking side here is what they need. And I don't think I need to remind you, Ben, that we have seen Horizon Lunar Colony finished off quite a few times in the same game. You know, we've gone to 3 or 4 overtimes before.
Yeah.
It's possible here as well if Mindfreak have a good attack. Let's see what they can do. Back onto the GOATS composition once again. Pretty standard stuff. Again, the same from Blank. Morton continuing with the Winston shenanigans.
Blank sitting safely up on the high ground. Mindfreak going to take it to them. They push up the stairs. Looking to find a pick. Swilko takes a bit of damage, drops back into safety. Going to try this one again. No, they're going out into the moon. We have to be quiet because there's no noise. And back in we go.
Well, Blank is actually suffering a little bit here as well. Maybe it's not Mindfreak that have got the space sickness, because Blank, one of those players fairly low on HP. Addy will be the first to be picked off though, so the focus fire just a little bit better there for the defenders. Noz cleaning up a couple. Swilko jumping around trying to do some work, but inevitably he will drop as well.
Blank looking good on defense. Quite a bit of time wasted there for Mindfreak as well, Jordan. So I think I took a too deep a breath then. I held my breath for too long.
Choked on a bit of spit.
Oh, it's a bit
How
hard.
Embarrassing.
I don't think I'd make a very good astronaut. That's for sure. For the sake of everyone. Do not send me to the moon. Even though we said we wanted to. But Morton's got the Primal Rage, and this could cause a bit of a ruckus in the back line.
Or the front line, really. Look at how clumped
right
up
into it,
Mindfreak are.
pops it. There goes the Q. And Winston right into the thick of things. Tongue Nox already. Well, Ultimate's available as well. Noz has to self-destruct. Goofs will pop the Transcendence. They are running out of time. 60 seconds on the clock. Mindfreak have used everything. All they're going to have now is the hole-in-one as an opportunity to make something here.
Might be more than enough. Only the Transcendence to defend against it, and that can't heal through the self-destruct.
Didn't get thrown, Jordan.
No, it didn't, and well, it probably isn't going to do too much now, as everyone from Blank quite definitely avoids it. It does look like it should be a full hold now. I mean, obviously there's going to be one more attempt for Mindfreak, but even with this stagger that Morton is putting out, particularly the one onto Christoph, even if they leave him DMAC, they don't need to kill the Baby Diva. That's enough of an advantage that Blank are looking very solid.
Yeah, look at that. That was, I'm not sure if Christoph just wasn't back yet. I'm not sure if he just was respawning and wasn't back into the fight, in which case I'm not so sure about the grab. But either way, Morton somehow has another Primal Rage. We literally just saw one, and we're back into it again. Mindfreak onto the point, looking for at least that one tick. Surely they can find themselves that. Maybe not. Maybe not, Elfishguy.
Absolutely not, Ben. Absolutely not. Even the confidence there to throw the grab into the floor from Nox. Morton doing so much work there with the Primal Rage. What an absolute beast, and there's a reason A lot of the main tank players said that this was a guy to look at heading into this season of Overwatch Contenders. Great hold from Blank. And they're now on the precipice of finishing up the map and putting themselves at a 2-1. It won't be the series win just yet, as we normally expect on Horizon Lunar Colony, but definitely a step in the right direction for Blank.
Almost 5 minutes to find 1 tick. Almost impossible to hold for that long, I would suggest here, Jordan.
Ready
on Horizon.
Show them.
Almost impossible. But what a sight it would be. Mindfreak could do it. Blank, though, in the driver's seat.
Yeah, tie the map up. I mean, you'd have to do better than what Blank did on King's Row. And Blank couldn't quite hold it out. That was 2 minutes 40. They almost did. Mindfreak need to have an absolutely monstrous defense.
Close, but no cigar.
And the key really is for Mindfreak.
There's no smoking on the moon.
Yeah. The key for Mindfreak really is, at this point, just making sure that their players don't die, right? Because as soon as you lose one player, then that makes the next fight so much easier for Blank. The respawn is so long on Horizon Lunar Colony that Mindfreak are really going to be punished in any of these fights if they lose a player.
Secure this map win. Blank only need to get all the way around to that little yellow triangle. Easy peasy, 33%. Davey aggressively pushing out as Winston, as soon as the bubble dissipates, will drop on back. Blank holding on the far side for now. What are we waiting for?
Yeah, what are we waiting for? I'm not sure.
Maybe
Modern
the
shield to charge, probably.
Yeah. Shield taking a lot of damage as the Winston dives on in. And again, dives back out. Tongue very low, down to 21 HP.
Mindfreak still have got control of that high ground, which Blank haven't really done anything
Jordan,
to
look,
slow
they
them.
get onto the point. Tongue has gone down in the back line, but Blank did not care. They made something of it. Something, but they get nothing.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think you might have got a little bit too excited.
No, Jordan, I wasn't going to let that happen again, where I didn't get excited in time, and then something happened, and it was too late.
I see. Well, Blank, unfortunately for them, nothing to get excited about there. No. Mindfreak still had that one well and truly under control, able to drop down onto the point. Blank, I think, needs to figure a way to get Mindfreak off this high ground, or at least challenge them for that, because to walk underneath them like that gives so much free reign over to someone like Addy. You can look at how much ultimate he's charged up, 87% compared to Nox, who has to fire up, which is much more difficult with the Zarya right clicks. Again, Blank just rotating through the low ground onto the point.
Avoiding Davey, so that wasn't bad. That was much quicker. They didn't have to do with the test of the cannon. Davey was forced to use his leap to get back onto the point. Graviton Surge will come out, self-destruct into the back line as well. Surely they can't defend everyone, but they will. Tongue pops the Transcendence. Davey with the Primal Rage. Goobs has the Transcendence still in the back pocket. Going to pop that as soon as the grab comes out from Nox. Nox so close to going down. Sound Barrier coming out as well. Mindfreak have used everything they've got. And Blank is starting to find picks. Morton's still alive. He finally goes down, but the rest of the team is still there. Nox charging on through with the Zarya. This is a Zarya with 100 energy as well. They're only looking for 1 tick, and it looks to me, Jordan, like Blank will find it.
Yeah, I thought for a moment Mindfreak was going to be able to hold there. It looked pretty solid. They had the ultimates. They used them early. But Blank just hanging on to theirs a little longer. Transcendence was great from Tongue. Heals everyone on Blank straight back up, and that'll be that. 2-1 now in the favor of Blank Esports, leading the series by 1. One map yet to play. Still salvageable for Mindfreak.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they...
That was
probably,
close, though.
Yeah, like, I think they'll be disappointed with that, you know what I mean? Like, it was a pretty comfortable win for Blank. They had plenty of time, but I felt like Mindfreak was in that contest.
They were. It was just, for me, the fact that they actually gave up such a large time bank the first time around. Anything else, if they just... One thing had gone their way that didn't, maybe it wouldn't have seemed like that. Maybe if that boop hadn't come through at the start, things could have been different. But look, they really did take it through to Blank, and whilst they won't get the win out here, still looking pretty good. For Blank, though, they're now 2-1 up, looking to make that 3-1 if they can pick up a victory on Junkertown, which would put them at 2-0. after 2 weeks in this season. Not a bad position to be in at all, Elfishguy.
Yeah, certainly trying to make amends for last season for the majority of this Blank Esports roster. I don't think it's a secret to anyone that this was a roster that, you know, going into the season, there was a bit of hype around, and they had the gaming house. Everyone expected them to perform well, and then they didn't really reach those expectations. Not even close. Didn't do too much in the playoffs, even going down 3-0 to Heist, which was quite disappointing, not only, of course, for the roster, but I think for the viewers and for all the fans of Blank as a roster. But this season, you kind of get a bit of a different feel from Blank Esports. They look stronger, they look really coordinated. They've got Morton coming across from Korea to bolster the team with that really strong main tank presence. So the vibe around Blank Esports and the way that they're playing their games and the way that they look when they're playing their games is a little bit scarier, I think, for a lot of the other teams than it was last season, at least just from my perspective, from what I've been viewing.
Well, Jordan, at least we get to map 4 and we still have a game on our hands, so that's exciting. We will now head across, of course, to Junkertown. All of the maps that we will see this week will all be the same. That's how it's working for Season 1 of 2019, and I personally am enjoying it, even if it means we don't get to make 50-50 guesses every single round.
I like making the guesses because, generally speaking, I was quite good at that. So this kind of...
I'm guessing that this map's going to be...
You know what? They've really nerfed the skill gap when it comes to casting, Ben. So now we kind of look a little bit closer together, but everyone still knows I'm a lot better than you are.
At what?
At casting.
No. Maybe. You cast a lot more than I do, to be fair. You should be better than me. You cast like 8 days a week.
Is it the chicken or the egg? Am I better because I cast more, or do I cast more because I'm better?
No, you're better because you cast more. Jordan, I have your first VOD, mate. It's still saved on my Twitch channel.
Oh, yeah.
If anyone wants to see it,
it's actually on my YouTube as well.
Hit me up on Twitter, and we'll share it with you.
Yeah, you probably don't want to watch that, let's be honest. What you do want to watch, maybe, here is Mindfreak winning a map.
Look, if that's the case, then we'll be on to Nepal. A victory here on Junkertown for Mindfreak puts us into the tiebreaker control point map, Nepal. A victory for Blank sees them go 3-1 for week 2. Puts them 2-0 on the scoreboard. Not a bad position to be in at all.
Yeah, interesting little up angle.
Look at this.
I'm looking, I'm seeing it. But seeing is not believing yet. I don't believe for Blank.
Oh, never mind.
That's very nicely done from the defense matrix of Christoph to keep him alive.
Nice work, dude. Look, gets caught out. It's like you catch a fish and you think you've got it and then it just bites you on the hand. That's precisely what happened there. Blank coming out with a pretty interesting strat.
Problem is now that payload is actually pushed so far forward that Nox is going to have trouble sitting on it because it's a lot easier to defend where it is.
Yeah.
For Mindfreak. They've got a lot of angles to use. Ura almost gets headshot by Addy. To be very aware on this map of the Widowmaker. A lot of angles, a lot of ability to bounce up in the air with the grapple as well.
Nox going to be coming out, trying to go into sentry mode, and you know when you're going into sentry mode and you're not actually on the payload yet, that's not necessarily the best position to be in.
Well, when does the tank form come out? That's the next question as well, because that's the next power play here for Blank.
Bastion still not necessarily doing what they needed to do. Slowly, though, pushing the payload a little bit further forward, but the further they push it forward without being able to get onto it, the more difficult it's going to be. Addy onto Roro, nice little pick, and to be fair, Mindfreak not looking too bad here on defense, Jordan.
Tell you what, Kura's going to have his hands full here because there are so many picks that are going in the way of Mindfreak. And he also has to pocket the Bastion. Addy not quite connecting the shots that he wants to. A little uncharacteristic, used to seeing him really, really solid on the Widowmaker, but I think they've bought enough time there, Mindfreak. Like, Blank finally now starting to get that payload pushing forward, but it does take a little bit of time. And Mindfreak have the opportunity to defend once again. Addy, not feeling it with the Widowmaker, decides to go on to Sombra. I think that's not a bad choice based on what we've been seeing. Get the hack onto Nox would definitely cause some problems here for Blank.
Yep.
Absolutely time for a recontest for Mindfreak, but they need to get themselves in position, and that time is starting to running out now.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. The supercharge is out, the Bastion's on the payload, but Nox going to go down to a big self-destruct from Christoph. Roro and Morton do bring it back. Punk goes down. Roro, as we see here, trying to make something with Wilco. Looking for the res onto, I'm not even sure.
Bastion,
picked up Addy, so it doesn't matter. I thought maybe that was the end of this attack, Elfishguy, when that self-destruct came through and found the Bastion. But no, it's not all about the Bastion.
Yeah, we were totally talking about different mercies at that point, by the way.
Oh.
I was talking about Kura's res while you were talking about Wilco's res. End of the day, it is Blank Esports that come up better for it, and Nox doesn't even need to use
I'm not even used to seeing 2 mercies alive at the same time, Jordan. We're lucky getting 1 mercy these days.
Yeah. Well, it is only the 1 mercy now. Wilco's gone back to his comfort choice.
See you, Davey.
Yeah, that's not fun when you're the ball. As soon as you get displaced or slowed down or stunned up, you pretty much die as the Wrecking Ball. He's got such a big hitbox. And the health, really, a lot of his survivability comes from not only the mobility, but also the shield. And obviously not able to use the shield in that scenario, so...
Love that we still got the Bastion coming through. Nox will drop off the payload, allowing the rest of the team to push through as we do go into configuration. Tank gives you obviously that mobility that you don't have otherwise. Finds Addy. Goops has gone down as well.
Uh-oh. Davey won't have too much fun here.
No. Nox actually playing pretty well here on the Bastion.
Well, I think this is something that if you are a budding Bastion main and you know, trying to make your way through the ranks, you need to have a look at, because he's being very mobile. I think that's the key as well. You know, he's not just sitting on that payload. Keeping his position a surprise for Mindfreak to deal with is always going to be important. And obviously Blank doing a great job of playing around Nox. Morton really pocketing him with Kura. It is only the single healer for Blank as well, so there's the extra threat, that extra damage onto Mindfreak as well that they need to be aware of. Everything seems to be working really nicely right now. The mines will put them out of position. Everything thrown in there actually from Mindfreak, and it's not a surprise to see so many kills coming off that self-destruct, but I wonder if Mindfreak have maybe even over-invested a little bit there.
Yeah, that was a lot getting thrown out there. Only Davey and the mines now left available. And maybe... Oh, okay. Well, Davey swaps across anyway. They swap right across.
It's not a bad time for Blank to swap now.
Yeah.
You know, if they continue with that Bastion for another fight, they probably run into the issue where by the end stages of this point, they don't have the ults charged up that they need to if they've swapped, you know, 1 fight later. But this still, with 3 minutes left, gives them time to charge ults.
Goats and goats here. Self-destruct going to come through. Won't find anyone. Davey does find Roro, however. Blank looking to find their way onto the payload, but it's now a little bit more difficult. They don't have the Brigitte. Their opponents do, and they will fall back, regroup, try again.
Slow Steady wins the race here for Blank. Don't need to be doing anything too crazy just yet. But all this time does give Mindfreak more opportunities to charge up that grab, which immediately gets eaten by Noz. Nicely done. Blank Esports just need to back away again. They're very low.
Yeah, there's potential for a bit of a turnaround here. Mindfreak getting their defend on. Kura has gone down. Tongue popping the Transcendence, but as soon as the Trans dies, Mindfreak now in prime position to really put that last nail in, I suppose, to this particular fight. Coffin. Bottom down, the rest of the team to get followed up quickly, and a bit of a stagger as well, Elfishguy. So,
definitely. Yeah. This is really, really solid stuff out from Mindfreak as well. Totally camping at the choke point. Addy holding a pretty cheeky angle here as well. Going to be looking for another grab. Charged one up in that last fight, so really doesn't matter, I guess, if the grab gets eaten. If you can get another one straight away. Blank's going to come from the other side. The Earth Shatter down. Not sure how good it is, but at least hits Flitz or Jay. Grab, though, is great from Addy.
This could be a big one. Oh. It's a huge one. Coming out from Christoph. The timing was great. The positioning was superb. And that's a fight win again to Mindfreak. 60 seconds on the clock. This isn't looking as good as it could here for Blank.
Definitely looking a lot worse for wear. They're not even being able to get in a position to contest the payload, to push the payload at all. They do have the grab combo with the self-destruct on the attack here, but when you consider what Mindfreak has and the fact that Blank is going to have to be running into them, like that Earth Shatter really could shut this one down if Davey hits a good one.
Oh, Davey. Davey. We're waiting for you, mate. One big Earth Shatter, as Elfishguy said, could potentially end this fight. 20 seconds on the clock. He throws it through. He captures out Nox. That one's down. Charges into the middle. Wants to follow it up with a big left click, a big hammer swing. Transcendence used by Tongue. Goobs, though, still sitting on his Mindfreak in prime position.
The payload's moved gets back.
Only a little bit forward through in this third phase of Junkertown.
Here comes a grab.
It looks to me like, is it possible, Jordan, that Blank don't make it all the way through?
Certainly is. Right now, they're going to have to push the whole way in overtime. Earthshatter is big out from Morton, and that might be the nail in the coffin for Mindfreak, at least for this fight. But there's still so many fights to come.
Now. The payload still right where it started here for the third phase of Junkertown. Oh dear.
Well, it's regroup time for Mindfreak. Yep. Blank still have to probably win another 2 fights.
What a world this would be if Blank managed to cap it out.
Would be quite surprising indeed. Self-destructor by the space. Davey can really combo with the self-destruct as well as it forces Morton to put his shield in one direction.
There's no way Blank loses this particular fight, Jordan. There's no way.
There certainly is a world in which they do. Not if they get the first pick, though, onto Swilko in particular.
Yeah, Swilko's gone down. Blank doing precisely what they need to do. Sound Barrier has come out from Kura, but Tongue still sitting on the trance. Mindfreak with nothing really to work with. Addy does have the grab coming up. Do you save it just that little bit longer, Jordan? Throws it out immediately right to the middle. Needs to follow it up with damage, though, but the Transcendence from Blank keeps them strong. Nice! Swilko, Addy, Davey all down. Christoph, D-Mex, Blitzor J goes down. Blank gets the payload moving once again. One huge team kill might secure them all 3 objectives here on Junkertown.
That's huge from Blank. Wow. What a push at the end there, particularly the Graviton Surge, the combo with Noz as well. Nox and Nox, you got to give them credit. As soon as I looked across and saw that Addy didn't have a personal bubble on that day, I was like, oh, this is going to be a big grab, a big self-destruct. And Blank are able to finish the map. Took them a little while, but this has certainly been a series, hasn't it? Like, this has been a very good series.
It's much closer than we anticipated.
It's the best series of the season so far. I'll say that much.
Yeah.
All right. Now the onus is on Mindfreak to do much the same. Perhaps with a little bit more time they would ideally want. What an easy task. But what has Blank got for us on the defense? That is a very interesting question as well, because we know they like to put their hands in the cookie jar, and sometimes they get choc chip, sometimes they get something a little bit more interesting.
Do you bring out Roro here on the Farah? Apparently not.
I don't know, because I think it probably gives too much of an opportunity for a pick to come out from Addy here. You know, like when you're playing a Farah, you want some cover to play around in the air.
No, I agree.
But on the first phase of this map, there isn't really.
He's just been so good on it, though.
He has been.
Look, he's not half bad.
Double sniper, though, for Blank as well. Roro onto Hanzo.
Yeah. So, if Mindfreak win this map, we'll be going on to map number 5. We'll be heading
Nepal.
To Nepal, yeah. Bit of a different temperature, I suspect. A little bit cooler. It's a little bit hot here, you can tell. Probably a dry heat, though, I suspect.
Yeah, definitely looks quite dry. Not much grass cover.
No.
We'll see the Bastion out for Slidzor J as well, so Mindfreak following suit with Blank.
Well, once again, the Bastion.
Should be a reservoir?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I love it, Jordan. This time, though, the difference for Mindfreak is that they are onto the payload almost immediately. Look how far they're getting to kick things off. They didn't have to worry about trying to get back on to start this one.
Yeah. Well, Addy's not having a fun time at all. He's been picked off twice. No, rather, he got the pick and then got picked himself, so never mind that. Even at the moment, Tongue taking a breather, but he's on 600 HP anyway. That's a nice hook.
Yeah, not too bad at all. Won't have the desired result in the end. Blank looking very low. Jordan, look at their health bars.
It's the Bastion pressure that this payload possesses, but Tongue gets a nice right click straight into him. Slidzor J goes down. No res available just yet. So we're going to have to be waiting for that one, and Addy starting to make amends for it. Bastion is down, but Addy is here. Kuro with the Battle Mercy. Pushes on forward and does dispatch of him, so it's a really backwards and forwards game right now. Blank seem to have pushed Mindfreak back just a little bit, though.
Kura picks up Roro, now Blank in not a bad position at all. Slidzor J will have the ultimate available. It's time to go tank mode. We'll see if they get... Oh! The desired result, but Goob's going to go down. see what the Dragon Strike can do.
Not much, but it is going to buy a little bit of time. Mindfreak will have to back away. Unfortunate for Roro, not able to cut a player off there. That's what he was trying to do. Isolate one or two that his team could push into. Mindfreak will back away safely, though.
Here we go, Little J transforms to a tiny little tank, but it's Christoph who's finding the pick. Jordan, look at this.
Oh, well, Little J goes down as well. The res across from Swilko into Christoph. Self-destruct here does get Christoph before he gets back in the mech.
What an incredibly messy fight this has been,
like,
but little by little, Mindfreak managed to get the payload ever closer.
Is it enough though, Ben? Because the respawns are back here. Morton with Reinhardt. Just going to sit himself on that point. No more Bastion for Mindfreak either. This is really backwards and forwards, and I think this is the best view to actually watch this game from. Because it's kind of hard to tell what is going on from those POVs sometimes.
Nox. Ominous is going to go down to Addy, but not this time. Transcendence popped by Goobs. Tongue going whole hog as well. Morton will go down. That's a big pick. Swilko found out as well. And Kura does manage to bring the Reinhardt back to life. So that's very, very crucial here for Blank. They want to try and keep this payload stopped for absolutely as long as possible. 1 minute on the clock, 60 seconds for Mindfreak to do something about this. If you take a look at what they've got to work with, now they change up their team comp almost entirely, Jordan.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough.
It's Goats minus Zaya. Addy eventually actually does come and swap off, but it's not going to be for the ultimates, Ben. I can tell you that much, because with 40 seconds, they're not going to get anything. Self-destruct to buy some space. But Blank, they're in a position now to hold this one off. Definitely looking like it should be their game here. Pulse bomb from Roro could be massive, but it's eaten.
Oh, it does indeed get eaten. Great work from Christoph keeping the team alive, but unfortunately it's not enough to keep Goobs alive. One big self-destruct does a ton of damage onto Blank. It didn't get the kills, but you can see all of the health bars going down almost at the exact same time. Nox sitting back here for Blank, trying to do work. They don't really have any tanks to work with either. A lot of fast, agile players, heroes even. Morton swaps across to the Wrecking Ball. That should change things up just a little bit. Roro continues to try and do his best, trying to sit onto the payload. Everyone getting knocked off. Mindfreak not looking like they're in that bad a position. They should be able to get this through, but they'll do it into overtime.
Just in time as well. But hey, if Blank can push all the way through to the third in overtime, maybe Mindfreak can give them a little bit of respect for pushing through first in overtime. 2 minutes 18 now for Mindfreak, and the tables have turned just a little bit because they have, in that last fight, built a couple of ultimates up. Blank a little worse for wear after having swapped off their roster. We're kind of back to square one here again. Neither team with a hugely favorable lead as far as the ults are concerned. And in the meanwhile, Mindfreak getting some nice payload positioning for free.
Yeah. Considering the payload could have ended its run about 50 meters further back, not bad at all. Self-destruct along the ground. Davey goes down. Transcendence has been popped by Goobs, however, but it was not enough. Addy takes a bit of damage, as does Christoph and Swilko. Swilko about to go down. Addy probably going to follow. Not for now. Kept alive. But Blank not doing a bad job here on defense.
Definitely a dangerous place of the map to be fighting.
Look where they are. Look where they are.
They have pushed Mindfreak back. I think at this point for Blank, it's kind of an attempt to make a statement saying, hey, you were lucky to get through that first phase of the map, to be honest, with the overtime, but straight away we're going to force you all the way back out to point A, reset yourselves. Nox will take the opportunity to farm up some free Graviton Surge here.
Looking for the first place. We'll go with the sound barrier. Tongue going to have trance as well.
It's a really forward hold here from Blank Esports. They're just trying to get in the face of Mindfreak.
Yeah. Grab available from Addy. Doesn't want to throw it into the defense matrix though. Successfully deployed. Transcendence comes out. Davey has an Earth Shatter. Big Earth Shatter finds Noz and Nox. They need to follow it up with damage. Nox surely about to go down. He will. Morton throws out an Earth Shatter of his own, but they're caught up in the middle of nowhere, Jordan. They're fighting in the back streets here of Junkertown.
Kura does manage to dispatch of Goobs in the back line there, which is going to buy a bit more time. No Discord Orb means players are going to die a lot slower for Blank, and 18 seconds left on the clock here. Mindfreak, if they do win this fight, again, they're going to be pushing through in overtime. Doesn't look indeed like they are going to win the fight, but it just takes a little bit of a while. Should be one more solid attempt at a defense on point B from Blank, however. And with a self-destruct to provide the space to allow them to actually get out on the point, it certainly is doable. Transcendence will keep them healed up in the fight. Or perhaps through the grab of Addy, who is holding, again, another sneaky angle, looking for something. Yeah.
Looking maybe to stop Blank having any opportunity to get onto the payload, and that's almost what they achieved, close, but not close enough for Mindfreak. Though Mindfreak do have a ton of ultimates to work with, but as you said, Elfishguy, you always have to consider the self-destruct. Noz finding Davey and Slidsaw J, and that should be that. Mindfreak falling short here on Junktown. Blank securing the third map of the day for them. 3-1. They'll get the victory. And now still undefeated here in Season 1 of 2019. But it wasn't for nothing. It was a tough fight, and I think Mindfreak really showed us that they had potential here in Season 1.
Yeah, definitely a good result for Blank, an okay result for Mindfreak. I kind of get the feeling that they would have wanted more out of that series, though. You know, to be able to get one off Sydney Drop Bears, then you put into context only getting one off Blank. I mean, and the way that a lot of those maps played out as well were pretty close. Mindfreak, I think, definitely had opportunities to do a little bit better than they did today. So they'll be able to go back and learn from that. But I don't think you can really begrudge Mindfreak either. Like, that's a pretty solid performance to be able to get a map off Blank, who's looking in pretty good form. You got to give them some credit there as well. And they're a new team, so definitely putting on a display that is giving me a little bit of hope, a little bit of hype maybe around Mindfreak heading into the late stages of the season.
These are the games we want to see, Jordan. When teams aren't necessarily evenly matched, one team should come out ahead of the other, and you go into a match knowing that, then you still want them to be at least this close.
Yep. Definitely. And for Blank, obviously a little bit to go back and look at as well. We saw some of their trademark quad DPS, triple DPS stuff, but toward the late stages of the series, we kind of got back to a little bit more of the standard GOATS compositions and that kind of thing.
It was weird today, wasn't it? It was a lot of comps we haven't seen lately. I've almost forgotten how to cast some of the other comps because we've just seen GOATS for so long.
I'm really feeling like this season is a bit more difficult to read, not only on the case of like, okay, X or Y team should beat X or Y team, but also what kind of compositions we're seeing, how the maps are playing out. Maybe it's just because we haven't cast Overwatch so much for the last month or so. Maybe we have to work our way back into it, but it does seem like some things that we're not expecting to occur are occurring a lot more, and it's just a little bit interesting, which is good. Obviously, I like the variety, and kind of keeps me excited for next couple of weeks of games. Obviously, we're coming back on Wednesday for the rest of this week.
It gives me hope, Elfishguy. Hope inside, full heart.
And then, you know, obviously when we get to playoffs or whenever the patch change does eventually come in, typically around playoffs time for us here in Australian Contenders, that could really throw a big spanner in the works. Looking at all the changes that we've been seeing coming out, we've got the new hero as well. So there's so much to think about for this season.
Certainly is. For now, though, let's take a look at our Macca's play of the game. A McDonalds Australia play of the game. Blank up against Mindfreak. Looking for potentially a big explosion here. Look at that. Christoph, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the D-Mac on
Who's really surprised? That's like a flavor explosion when you put a big Mac in your mouth. Christoph, I mean, that'll be his first Macca's play of the game of the season. Shield not coming up from Morton on the Winston. I think he was still in Primal Rage at that point, so he wasn't even able to if he wanted to.
Yeah.
So that's going to be the end, obviously, of Blank, at least in that particular fight. But another self-destruct play of the game.
Jordan, I'll take them every day of the week. But a bit of variety is always good. It can't always be carbonara, can it?
No, definitely not. Sometimes you want that Big Mac. But I think, look, again, going back to that series, for Mindfreak, if they're going to be performing that well against teams that are of a lower caliber than Blank, you know, when we see, for example, Mindfreak up against teams like Legacy, maybe Athletico, who struggled last week, certainly right now, looking at teams like Ground Zero, who are really struggling, I think those are really scalps that Mindfreak will be looking at.
Yeah, the Mindfreak up against Ground Zero match could be a bit of an interesting one. So, let's